2009. With respect to the police officers,
but not only did you save some money this year,
right?
But next year you're going to save a whole salary,
and that's why
that was it was important to take those steps early on in the year.
That's correct. The sooner we did that, the more we would save, not only this year, but that's recurring.
Right.
They're forever eliminated those positions, so we don't have to fund them on a going forward basis. That's a very responsible way to try and cut the size of government. You're not hurting the employees. You're giving them an option. Mm-hmm. And yet the county going forward is not going to have to fund those positions anymore.
Okay, so let's talk about the second, police protection.
Police protection, every year that I've been on the legislature, we have put back a police class to hire more recruits. It's my belief, as far as managing the police department, to the extent I have any say in it, it's really a day-to-day operation of the county executive and the police commissioner, is that we should be bringing rookies onto the force at a steady pace. So they can get the advantage and training from the officers that have been there over a long period of time. So I've always supported putting police back into those classes and getting more cops out on the street. And it's good for our neighborhoods as well, especially in times where there's an economic downturn where you do expect that to have an impact on crime. Administratively, the county executive decided to take the highway patrol off of Sunrise Highway and Long Island Expressway and put those police officers back into patrols in the neighborhoods and replace them with deputy sheriffs. He did not consult with the legislature before doing that. He takes the position that it is saving money for Suffolk County, and it may very well be. But from my perspective, that's only a small part of the debate. What we really need to do is take a look in our communities and say, given staffing levels, do we have enough police officers? And usually the answer is no.
And we don't. And do you have enough deputy sheriffs to do what they're responsible for doing, which is handling, civil complaints as well as domestic violence, right, and other responsibilities?
Deputy sheriffs are highly trained, similar to the police officers. They are very capable. They're very good at what they do. But it's a staffing question, and it's a legitimate question. The sheriff has indicated short-term, if there was a void in patrols, that the sheriff's department could fill that. Going forward, I suspect we'll see a request for more deputy sheriffs.
What about the proposal that actually came from the governor's office? Right. Which is to increase surcharges on fines and penalties for violations, traffic violations, and people who go through red lights, and have that revenue dedicated to the Suffolk County Police Department.
Yeah, I signed off on that. We meaning me and my colleagues in the legislature, sent a letter up to the governor making exactly that request. I mean, think about it. The need for the highway patrol comes from the violators.
Right.
So if we're going to put the surcharge anywhere, rightfully so, I think it should go on the folks that are violating the law and causing us to need the increased level of patrols on the road. So that made sense to me. It's a very specific, targeted revenue source that truly goes to the folks that are causing the need for the revenue in the first place.
What about the argument that's being made that by taking the Suffolk County Highway Patrol officers off the LIE and Sunrise Highway, we're losing a cadre of very experienced, highly trained officers who have a whole range of very sophisticated equipment, including computer scanners that can actually scan hundreds of cars over the course of a couple of minutes to find out if people are driving cars that have violations. Mm-hmm. And we're replacing them with deputy sheriffs who perhaps don't have as much training in highway patrol as well as the equipment. Mm-hmm. And there's a lack of coordination between the highway patrol unit and the precincts and the other support units that work in the police department.
Mm-hmm. I take no issue with agreeing that the Suffolk County Police Department, Highway Patrol, in fact the entire force, is extremely competent, highly trained, and very effective in what they do. But so are the deputy sheriffs, and the decision of whether to have the police or the highway patrol or the sheriffs is really an administrative decision that was made. I'm not sure whether or not the cost savings will materialize, and the jury is really still out on that. As far as getting the equipment, I've spoken to the sheriff about it. He assures me that he's not part of this debate. What it's really all about for him is if I have to perform a public safety function, I'm going to get the equipment that I need to do.
So bottom line is, if you can get the revenue, you'd rather have the Suffolk County Police patrol the highways?
That's the real issue. The answer to your question is yes, and let me tell you why. The county executive's first choice was not to take the highway patrol off of these roads. The county executive's real choice was to have the state of New York pay for roads that are owned by the state of New York.
Pay for the patrols, yes.
I'm sorry,
right,
yes, pay for the patrols.
Right.
So that's really what the debate should be all about. The debate should not be whether or not we're taking one department and replacing it with another department. The debate is really about how do we convince Albany to step up to the plate and pay for patrolling roads that they own, the LIE and Sunrise Highway.
Okay, we have to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation about the Suffolk County budget with Suffolk County Legislator Lou DiMauro, so stay with us.
The best part of my job is that I get to represent my constituents. This district that I'm in covers two towns. It covers the town of Huntington and it covers the town of Babylon, or portions of each town. And within that district that I represent is a very diverse group of people. And day to day, they're in contact with my office, and we get to respond to issues or concerns that they have. And that really gives you a sense of when you go to work in the morning and when you leave at night that you've accomplished something, that you've actually touched people and that you've helped them.